Hey viewers, welcome to another game on Casual Pro Gamer. Today we're doing a game between mTwDIMAGA as the Zerg in the top right and Stephano as the Zerg in the bottom left. So a Zerg versus Zerg, haven't seen that in a while. And yeah, this should be good. Both of these players are really good. And hopefully we will see some interesting strategies. So it seems that it's not Heart of the Swarm. I didn't really check when this replay came out. No, it isn't Heart of the Swarm at all, which means Wings of Liberty style. And we are going to just, well, watch this game as just being a match. It doesn't really matter. That is not Heart of the Swarm. I will, however, check next time so that I actually have a Heart of the Swarm replay, because this is the second in a row that is not Heart of the Swarm. And yeah, I want to be, well, I want to have a little bit of a mix of like the best matches that people select and actual recent matches. So we do have a drone scout going out only for the Stephano, so only for the bottom player, and the top player is not going for that. He is just sending out his overlord, not really worried about what's going on. The scout is going on, he sees the spawning pool going up before the expansion, and that's all he needs to see. So really nothing else to see. And are we going to harass this drone? Drone is not coming out yet. There he is. Or it. I don't know if it's a he. I don't know if drones are actually male or female. Or, well, whatever. Anyhow, we do have the expansion coming up for Stephano. And he doesn't have his spawning pool out. He's going to build a spawning pool afterwards. And eventually the hatchery does go down. But there's quite a bit of delay. About 20 seconds, well, almost 30 seconds of delay. And that can actually make a difference, because it means that, well, Stephano can still be aggressive with his incoming Zerglings. And yeah, that is way harder for the mTwDIMAGA to, well, to achieve, for the simple reason that, well, he is not going to have as much production for 30 seconds. Which means that, well, Stephano can just produce, well, 30%, 30 seconds more units, and that is quite significant. Or he can produce his units 30 seconds sooner, I should say. Well, we do have a little bit of a difference now, but it's not going to be a major difference. Obviously, the farming is also going to be a little bit different, so the income is going to be a little bit higher for the pink player once he starts building drones, because, well, he can build that one drone extra or so, or two drones. I don't actually know what the spawning rate of these little larvae is. But yeah, he can get that mining going a little bit sooner. Of course, the queen is going to make a difference here, because the queen is obviously not up yet for Stephano. And Stephano is going to go with the attack on the overlord first, instead of well, instead of running to his well, other base. But he is going to have a queen out on both bases, so never mind. Yeah, normally we see them run a queen from this base to the other base, but that only goes when they go spawning pool first. I just realized. No, it's pretty stupid on my part. Yeah, if you go spawning pool first, you build your first queen here, you spawn your larvae, and then you run to your other base as soon as possible. Because then you get the second queen, so you build the second queen in your main base, and well, the queen arrives here at about the same time that the new queen spawns, which is at the time it will have 25 minerals, energy. And with that 25 energy, it should be able to inject more larvae. So anyhow, we have plenty of overlords all over the place from everyone, because, well, they're not really afraid of the anti-air. Only anti-air currently out is the queen, but the queens are way too expensive to just run around the map, and they're too useful to yeah, to not have at your hatchery, so you would have to build a new one just to hunt down overlords, and that's never going to happen. So yeah, that's good. So anyhow, we have some larvae coming out, and every one of these is going to be a drone. It seems that we're in full drone production here. 11 drones. On the other side, we have a roach warren coming up. And the roach warren is going to be hidden a little bit. I don't think there's an overlord here. No, it's not very well hidden, because the overlord can actually be over here. And then you wouldn't be able to see it as the pink player. But you would be able to scout as the red player. We have a new hatchery coming up for both players, and I think by now the income should be equal on both sides. Actually, the red player a little bit ahead, because, well, he does have more income in his gas. Of course, with those 11 drones he just produced, he is going to be fine in the, well, income tab. And here comes a new queen. This is how you normally do that. So he spawned the larvae over here, builds a new queen, and then runs this old queen to this base. And, well, it will arrive at, well, as I said, well, just before it has 25 hit energy. And if you do it correctly, it will actually be here with the spawning of the base. And oh, all kinds of... Oh, nice! Trades 2 banelings for about 5, because, well, the queen took down 1 as well. And that is going to cost him in the end. The banelings are still here though, but they're not fast enough to go after these zerglings. And what are we going to do here? It is 3 versus... Oh, well, no, never mind. It was 3 versus 3, but that of course didn't really matter. Oh, the banelings just suiciding 1 by 1. That's not good. You need 2 hits on things, and obviously the queen is going to go down to these zerglings now. The zerglings are way more effective than the banelings, it seems here, and he is sending in more and more and more. So even though the economy and the technology is going to Stephano, the amount of zerglings here is definitely, or the army in general is definitely going to Dimaga, who takes out the base there and should be able to keep the pressure on so that that base will not come up again. Obviously, zerglings not very good against roaches, but they did do a little bit of damage there, and that's about all they wanted to do. Just wanted to see what's there, and now that he has, well, a good idea of how many of these roaches there are, he can actually... Oh wow, all overlords. But he can actually just... nice. Just keep his pressure up with his zerglings, and that should all be fine. So he made overlords there because, well, he didn't really super need them, but he made them because those are the only units that he couldn't produce, or he could produce, that wouldn't be sniped by the zerglings that were there. And you saw that that was exactly what happened. Dimaga came in right at the moment they spawned and tried to pick off the units, but obviously they're overlords, so they fly away and, well, they can't really attack them. And then, of course, we had the Mutalisk coming in to, well, actually take care of that. And are we going to be able to take down... Yes, we are going to be able to take down this this overlord, and that is... Well, it's not huge, but it's pretty big, because, well, with that overlord gone, the scouting on this base is a lot less. There's only 1 over here, and you can chase that off, of course. But yeah, plenty of units still available to snipe that base once again, and we are going to just have to see where we're going with this, because there's another base coming up, so not really going for full army mode yet. And we have Mutalisk in the air as well, so kind of a mixed army of just about everything. And this is mainly, mainly these infestors, and then some roaches to go along with it. No real thing to deal with the air units other than maybe the infestors. The infestors can take care of them, obviously, but it's not the best thing to have. The roaches obviously can only attack the air, ground, and not the air. And we have the little zergling coming in here, And the little Zergling is of course a changeling that is going to scout around, and the overseer just says, hey, I'm out of here, see ya later. So yeah, in the meantime we still have these mutalisks over here, and the mutalisks are going to be fine. Wow, actually that can actually capture that. Okay, so using a changeling to capture the watchtower. That is cute, that is cute. Because changelings are basically free, because the energy from the overseers is very rarely used. Normally it just stays at full energy the entire game, because nobody really cares about the spells that it has. Contaminate is pretty much useless. And the spawn changeling, yeah, it's used every now and then, but not really often. And is definitely not one of the better ones. So yeah, attacking this spore crawler, and that might actually cost him his mutalisks, because, well, yeah, there you go. The mutalisks obviously not very good against the spore crawlers, and because he had those infestors there and had the fungal growth on them, yeah, it was pretty much over right there. So 2 spawned units actually on this watchtower. And they won't attack each other because the changeling is made so that it looks like a unit from the pink player, so it will not automatically attack the pink units, but also the pink units will not automatically attack it. So you have to manually attack it, and otherwise you have to wait until it actually, well, stops being there. And we have plenty of anti-air now, with a number of hydralisks as well as roaches, and we have infestors. The roach is the only one that can't deal with the mutalisks, but the mutalisks are mostly gone. Yeah, we have a big defense set up here. Roaches, well, some hydralisks, and of course the Zerglings with the infestors as backup, and that is going to be awesome. This should be a big fight here. Look at the amount of spine crawlers, sorry. The amount of spine crawlers is really ridiculous this game. Because both players realize, well, the only thing that can happen at this moment is that the enemy pushes the base before anything, well, is there to defend it. And the way to prevent that from happening is to build spine crawlers. To make sure that that push, so if there's a push coming in over here, he should be fine. I mean, he has his army over here, but if it's coming in over here, he doesn't really have any army here, a little bit. But what he wants, of course, is he wants to have some time to actually gather up his unit. And wow, the fungal growth doing so much there. Fungal growth not allowing the roaches to get out, and actually allowing those spine crawlers to just completely annihilate that little army. And of course that is exactly what he wanted out of that. So yeah, we do have some armies running around the map, 4 roaches and like 10 Zerglings. But yeah, the Zerglings are going to be a little bit more maneuverable, and of course they can pick off roaches if they're in much bigger numbers. So 1 versus 6 should work. But yeah, the roaches are of course much tankier. They have armor. They have 2 armor at the moment. Well, they have 1 upgrade and 1 standard. And yeah, that means that the Zerglings are going to be, well, kind of at reduced damage. Because Zerglings do like 6 damage, 5 damage, I don't know. This one does no damage, of course, that's a changeling. Do we have any Zerglings on the map? Well, we do. So Zerglings do 5 damage with 2 armor. That, well, means that 2 of those don't get through. 2 of those get absorbed by the armor, so they do 3 damage per attack. And that is, yeah, it's a good attack speed, but it still isn't enough compared to the 20 damage that these roaches do. And of course roaches do flat damage just like Zerglings. Unlike some of the other units, well, not these ones of course, but yeah, well, the fungal growth, for example. Fungal growth does 40 damage against armored units, but 30 against non-armored units. So the amount of damage from those kind of units, so the units that do more damage to armored units, yeah, that's the units you normally want against the roaches, but there aren't a whole lot of Zerg units that actually have that. And these, yeah, well, most of the units are just, well, plain like one number units. So they have the standard damage, flat damage to any kind of unit, and yeah, because of that, there's no real super good unit against roaches, for example, in Zerg versus Zerg. Well, the roach works very well against the roach, obviously, because they're the same unit, but they're not super effective. So yeah, these Broodlords are going to be very effective because there's no good way to deal with them. The only unit that can really deal with them are the Hydralisks, but if you can hold them all at bay, so if you can keep them away from your Broodlords, they don't have blink like the Stalkers do. So yeah, it's going to be hard to approach that for the pink player here. And instead they're going to go into a battle of infested Terrans versus infested Terrans. And of course the player with the Broodlords will win that fight because he has the range on that. Broodlords have insane range, and that's exactly why they're chosen. They have range 9.5, which is, I believe, the longest range of a unit in the game. And well, the other team also building the Broodlords. Obviously, Broodlords versus Broodlords, yeah, that's going to be a mess because they can't attack each other. But well, the Corruptors, the thing you build Broodlords from, yeah, they can actually attack the Broodlords, but Broodlords cannot attack Corruptors. So this should be interesting. There come the Corruptors, and only 2 Corruptors are out. They're going to do some damage, but obviously they can get sniped by the Hydralisk. It's all about the Corruptor production now. One of the Broodlords goes down. It is 4 Corruptors versus 0 at the moment. And, oh, versus 1, sorry. Whoever wins this battle of the Corruptors, that's the one that's going to win. Because Broodlords are not going to be stopped by anything else at this moment. The Hydralisk will get nowhere close to the Broodlords because they will get taken out before they actually reach that. And it's just going to be very hard to go up against. And so both players going for similar strategies, but yeah, well, we see that Stephano here has more Corruptors for now, and therefore he is going to do better in this next battle if he can actually land the shots on those Broodlords, because Broodlords, as I said, cannot attack enemy Broodlords. So having more of them will not help in the fight. Also, these spine crawls will not help. Spore crawls will help. There's one of them over here. Well, it's being built right now. You didn't see that. And of course, the infestors can land both the fungal growth and the infested Terrans. So yeah, that would be relatively useful. And there is a little bit of an invade coming in here. He has this infestor burrowed here, and that means that he's going to try to cast some spells from underground. You can cast come on, what's it called? Yeah, the spawn infested Terran from underground. And yeah, you don't have to unburrow for that. You do have to unburrow for fungal growth. Normally, if you can land a good amount of damage with that, you don't really care too much. So that infestor is just sitting there as a scout of what's coming up. And we finally have the big battle coming up here. The Corruptors are going to be the ones that decide this. As I said, these Corruptors are going to get taken out by the fungal growth, but not entirely. The amount of infested Terrans is insane on both sides. But they do get taken out, and look at the amount of infestors here. That is just, it's crazy mode, that's what it is. Wow, just so many units. And where did all of these Corruptors go? Did he transform them into Broodlords? Because that might actually be the case. He needs to have more of these Corruptors at this moment. Because, well, those are the ones that are going to change well, who was going to win. They're going to be the decider, basically. And as you can see, we do have all of this army moving topside. Not actually sure what his plan is here, because he doesn't really have anything to destroy this base. He probably has some broodlords coming up. Yep, there are the broodlords. And they might actually be trading bases here. So this base for this base. And that would, well, that would be a good trade for the red player, I guess. Because the red player actually, yeah, well, he doesn't really have a lot of mining going on in this base. And, well, yeah, that's the same for this base. There's not a whole lot of mining going on. Oh, no, it's same here. They're mainly mining gas in these bases, if you're wondering about why they're not doing that. But they need a lot of gas. The minerals, not so much a problem. You can just plop a few of the workers on those minerals, and then, well, after that, it doesn't really matter anymore. So it is kind of time that we start doing something, guys, because we are waiting for you to make a move, and obviously both of them don't want to lose this. And we are going to move forward a little bit. He does see the defense now. And is that good enough? Well, the changelings are coming in. The changelings are going to scout around. And here come the corruptors. The corruptors are going to do very nicely. And oh, I have to wonder how many of those corruptors can actually shoot down the enemy broodlords, because they are currently shooting at each other. And yeah, these corruptors are staying alive, while these corruptors from Stephano are just all dying. And this is not going well. The corruptor's still alive for Dimaga, and he is going to win this, because he actually chose to go for the corruptors instead of for the broodlords, and the broodlords are all going to go down because of that. So as long as you have, as I said, corruptors are going to change this battle. They're going to decide who is going to win this. And that's exactly what happened here. Look at all those broodlings. That is just insane. And they don't actually get to take out the extractor. The extractor still lives, but it's not a problem. So, yeah, plenty of defense here to deal with a little bit of an attack like that. And there is no army anymore for this this pink player. So Stephano really needs to build up something to defend here. Otherwise he's just going to lose all of his bases. And look at that, the infested Terrans coming out. The infested Terrans are going to just, well, absorb the damage mostly. And now after that, so after the spine crawlers go down, they are going to take out this base. Together with the broodlords, of course. But yeah, infested Terrans really useful for base assaults, because they completely overwhelm the defense that's there if you have static defense. And unless you target everything by hand, they're going to just attack those spawned units, and they allow the the other units to just go free. Obviously he has a lot of spawned units. He has infested Terrans, he has the broodlings. And all in all, oh, so many drones going down. Holy crap. Yeah, it's 48 drones killed. It's not a big difference, but obviously, yeah, the drones there, that was a huge loss for Stephano, but it doesn't matter because he lost anyway. I mean, at this point, there's nothing to stop this big army. He can't produce this many corruptors at one time. And he is going to attempt to go into these bases and just, well, wreck faces, but he's not moving forward. He's just standing there and moving in. But it is going to be a base race instead, and we'll have to see who actually comes out ahead, because the one that has the most buildings at the moment, which is I guess, well, Dimaga, that's the player that will win. But it also depends, do they have some drones still alive somewhere? Because if you can build a building over here as the pink player, it's going to be very hard to take out as the red player. But the red player has way more army, so all he needs to do is defend his base. And yeah, this base, for example, keep mining. And there is nothing going on for, yeah, well, we have some drones here. Yeah, he is being revealed, and he doesn't actually have 300 minerals. So all he has is the army that is currently up. And we'll have to see if he can actually make that work. Because I don't think he can. So he doesn't really have enough of an army, so there is no production coming out for the pink player anymore, and there will not be any production anymore because all he has is 39 minerals, and that's not enough to build another base. So another base coming up here, or actually a lair coming up there for Dimaga, who is in, well, a huge lead here. He should not give this away at any point. And a little bit of damage going off with the fungal growth, but the fungal growth obviously not good enough to do anything at this point. And they are going to be, yeah, they are going to attempt to do some damage still. But yeah, corruptors are really hard to kill. They are just too hard to kill at this moment. And we are going to just, well, attempt to flank the army with a much smaller army. And yeah, finally he does give up. He realizes that he cannot flank the army if the army just sticks together. And yeah, all in all, that's the end of it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG.